how would you actually get them together, and so that they want to join iCUSU and meet people from other countries? I want to know specific things.
Maybe I'll just start first.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Marker.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
So I mean, like I think everyone is pretty much a west, east. So I mean, at what's fundamental this divide is just really, I could say a difference in values that we hold, because Asians tend to be more based on community, whereas Europeans, Americans tend to be more like, say, open, but I mean, it's finding hard to integrate it into our community. But from my personal experience, I'm at Girton, so there's quite a lot of EU and US students. So it's true that not everyone is interested in Asian culture or whatever it is we have to offer. But there will be always some people who are interested and who have made friends with Asian, even from Asian societies, which I mean, I'm just speaking from personal experience. So I think that you may not get the majority, maybe you might get just like a bit, but what we need to do is to maintain, as in our opening and welcoming approach. So and not to just like say that, oh, iCUSU is just for these the Asian societies. I mean, looking at event pictures and looking at events themselves, like even during International Freshers Week, I think that's a very telling thing, that you see like everyone from different countries getting together, because it's only after International Freshers Week when they get pulled away by the national societies, by their colleges. So really what I want to do is integrate this whole process. So as I mentioned, by getting the international societies and colleges, I think they've been quite neglected. So we want to bring them into the equation. And basically, because personally I felt that International Freshers Week was the most international week of my life in Cambridge, and I just want to replicate the experience in International Freshers Week for each and every iCUSU event. So I think what I need to what to do is to keep the events fresh, and to constantly keep the iCUSU name in everyone's head, such that we're not just good for International Freshers Week. After International Freshers Week, we still keep the internationals' minds. They're from Greece, they're from Portugal, and by just communicating with all the international societies, and
Yeah, sure. I think Joey just gave a really good talk, and I think that's exactly the point. What I mentioned, international conferences, and to make sure the students stay connected with iCUSU as a whole, in just my previous speech. And I think what we should do is to having a number of major events, which I like the international conference and also the charity fashion show, where everyone can put effort and spending time into these major events, so that either by showing their traditional culture, or showing their interest in international affairs, to make sure everyone put their energy into and contributing into the events that iCUSU is going to run, and coupled with a more and regular social events such as club nights, pub nights, and pub quiz, these kind of things. Just make it more regular and make everyone just stay connected, and use iCUSU as an international hub to not just integrate international students into local community, but also I want to attract interest from even just English people, because I'm sure they will be interested to know more about what's going on in the other side of the world, what's going on in Africa, and what's going on in so I want to create this kind of sense of belonging and integration and bridge between international students and local students.
Okay. Yeah.
I'd just like to add on to this point. Like, I definitely agree with adding more events under the iCUSU name, but I feel that we should not be creating existing events, but what we should be really working on is integration with other societies. Because you mentioned the charity fashion show, so there was actually a Cambridge charity fashion show held about just a month ago. So what we need to do is to leverage on the fact that we are international society. We speak for international students. So, and to really just build bonds with other societies, and to work with them to see how we can give the event an international outreach as opposed to organizing the events by ourselves, because we have limited funds, we have limited budgets. So I think we need to look at what we have and what we are good at. So I mean, that would be my vision in terms of working with our societies to, and this ties in because earlier in my anecdote I mentioned that, you know, I don't want to go for 3 punting tours, I don't want to go for 3 college, I don't want to go for 3 city tours. I want to go for one where I can meet a whole diverse group of people and have a really great and exciting time. So I think really it's not about creating because I know we're all Cambridge students, we have a lot of work. I think what we face a lot is a lot of event saturation. You know, we have CCS ball, we have Kumsa ball, this play, that play. No, I mean, if we get societies to work together, we can eliminate a lot of these multiple events and have one big and larger, and we pool resources together to get a really great and big event.
I think that's definitely a good point. And well, what I was saying was creating this kind of event, but I didn't mention is in reality, in execution, that I'm actually gonna partner with these local different communities, different societies. For example, partnering with the Chinese societies for Chinese New Year, partnering with international societies for the international charity fashion show. And I think, well, obviously due to the limited resources that we're gonna have, we're definitely gonna have to have a plan as early as possible to be able to secure the bookings, secure the events, and to be able to start as early as possible and collaborations and forming partnerships with our international communities. Thank you.
Okay, great. One more critical question. So this year, iCUSU's executive committee has 10 members. Do you know how many of them are from the same country?
I think of looking to maybe about 80%.
Slightly higher. There are 10 of us. 9 of them are Chinese, and there's 1 girl from Thailand. A problem of that is the fact that given the composition of the society, of the committee, I don't think the committee is very representative for the international community here at Cambridge. And given, all the applicants we are having as well today, this year we have a lot more diversified applicants than what we had last year. But just building on that question, how would you actually make iCUSU actually more representative of the international students here? Because it's going to be a big problem in the future if iCUSU became a society that's really focused on a particular group of internationals rather than actually representing all the internationals here at Cambridge. So what do you guys think about addressing this problem?
Oh yeah, okay. So I mean, I'm just tying on the earlier point about just bridging this. Okay, maybe not even the East-West divide, but even amongst Asian societies. I think what's really core, the crux of the issue is just cross-societal integration across different international societies. So the thing is, from my experience in Kumsa, the thing is people will go for events if their friends are going. So the thing is to create the avenue for people to make friends at events. So I mean, firstly from my experience, I made friends during International Freshers Week that stayed with me ever since. So I think what is really just to replicate the experience during International Freshers Week at each event and maintain iCUSU's relevance in bridging all the international societies, such as continue to have the World Food Festival. I think the World Cup was a really great idea because I think it's sports, so we need to really work on activities which are universal, which anyone can take in, like music, there's a talent show, and food, sports, and maybe with some peripheral events. But it's really just about in order to get representation in a student body like iCUSU, it needs to start from the bottom in terms of getting everyone to providing the opportunity for people from different international societies to make friends with each other, and that's when it builds up from there. That's what I think about it's about.
Well, if for me, I would take more practical and approach. So I would definitely looking into following the International Freshers Fair. I would definitely looking into bring these freshers into joining our society and help us out in creating these events. So by doing that, we are creating active members. We're not going to do the international. We're not going to do the World Cup just between our committee members, but we're going to need the help from these all international freshers. And by bringing them actively involved in contributing our events, I'm sure that once they're more involved and engaged, I'm sure they will be more likely to leave and to run for the committee positions next year.